I'm Dr. David DeRose. I'm a physician. I'm also a radio host. Some of you may listen to my weekly show, American Indian Living. That's right, it's especially themed for Native Americans. But in addition to the work that I've done in clinics and the work that I do behind a radio microphone, I often travel and lecture. Some time ago, I was lecturing in the state of Minnesota. I was on a school campus, and the school put me up in a interestingly decorated room. The room was filled with Minnesota Twins memorabilia. Now, I was not really an expert on all things baseball in Minnesota and all things Twins, so it was interesting to see the kind of things that were decorating that room that I spent several days in. But one of the recurring images in that room was of a fellow by the name of Kirby Puckett. Now, after several days spending a room with someone, if you don't know their life history, you're at least going to go to Wikipedia or check out something to try to find out who this guy was anyway. So not being a great baseball aficionado, I didn't know all that much about Kirby. But as I researched into him, I learned that he was one of the great superstars in Minnesota Twins baseball. But I also learned something that interested me as a physician. Kirby's career was cut short by visual impairment caused by glaucoma. Glaucoma, a condition of vision loss typically associated with increased eye pressure, affects millions of people worldwide. Macular degeneration, another common cause of visual impairment. What's so striking about these two conditions, very common in older adults, is first of all, you want to be seeing your eye doctor on some regular basis because both of these conditions can be insidious. They can just creep up on you. But even if you're seeing the eye doctor, even if you're being treated for these conditions, the medical research suggests there might be a missing link between you slowing the progress of one of these diseases or preventing it altogether. And that missing link, you might have guessed, is the Methuselah Factor, optimizing your blood fluidity. That's right, if you look at the research, if you measure indicators of how fluid your blood is, for example, blood viscosity, the worse your blood viscosity, the greater your risk of losing your vision and having vision problems from things like glaucoma and macular degeneration. So you say, well, what can we do about it? What kind of things can improve blood fluidity? Well, that's really been an effort of mine over the years. I've given entire continuing medical education classes for doctors. I remember some years ago I was invited to give a 6-hour CME series on improving blood fluidity for physicians. We're not going to take 6 hours right now, obviously. But what I have done is distilled many of the most practical suggestions for blood fluidity into a simple 30-day program. I talk about it in my book, The Methuselah Factor. I want to give you one of them right now to try to help you. If you're dealing with glaucoma or macular degeneration, maybe it's very early, the doctor's concerned about it. Maybe you're taking supplements to try to help your macular degeneration. Let me go with you to day 19 in my program. I outline it in my book, The Methuselah Factor. And day 19, I'll give you the title of it. It is simply Go Green. In that chapter, I'm encouraging people to eat more green leafy vegetables. Here's why. Green leafy vegetables are rich in nitrates. It's a compound. They've actually looked at these nitrate-rich plants, and they find that these particular plants make platelets, clotting cells in the body, less sticky. If you make the platelets less sticky, what happens? Your blood fluidity improves. Now, you may realize that there's been research done on a whole host of antioxidants, things like lutein and zeaxanthin, some of these so-called esoteric-sounding plant chemicals or phytochemicals. They're actually put into supplements. You say, Dr. DeRose, I don't need to eat green vegetables because I'm taking the supplement that my eye doctor prescribed. Well, I'm not telling you don't take that supplement. I mean, keep taking it, but there might be other benefits to your blood fluidity that you're not getting if you don't eat the green vegetables themselves. Let me tell you something else interesting that happens when you eat more plant foods that relates to visual health. as they look at these risk factors for poor blood fluidity and impairing your vision from things like glaucoma and macular degeneration, they find that there's another culprit. When you eat animal products, they tend to be rich in saturated fat. So think red meat, think cheese, think whole meat. The saturated fat in those animal products makes cell membranes stiffer. Among the cell membranes that are stiffened are your red blood cells. When the red blood cells are stiffer, they have a harder time going through your bloodstream, and they make your blood less fluid. The missing link when it comes to glaucoma and macular degeneration, the missing factor that many people aren't even mentioning, it's blood fluidity. One way you can improve it, eat more green leafy vegetables. Eat less of those animal products, more of the greens, and you will be on your way to better visual health. I'm Dr. David DeRose.